Estuaries Management and Engineering is a book written by Professor Sundar, Nasiraj and Murli. May I request our Chief Guest, Sri Sunil Paliwal, and dignitaries on the stage to release the book titled Coast Estuary Management and Engineering. Most practicing engineers in the ocean engineering discipline have the access to theories and textbook laboratory applications rather than understanding real field problems and their allied solutions. In an attempt to bridge the aforesaid gap, my colleagues at the Department of Ocean Engineering, IIT Madras, have come up with a book titled Coast and Estuaries Management and Engineering. Partnering with World Scientific Publishing Company and the Advanced Series in Ocean Engineering. It is one of the 3 books in the same series in the last 3 years. This book deals with complex hydrodynamic and morphodynamic processes, particularly prevalent along the critical coastal stretches and ecologically sensitive estuarine regions, with real-time case studies and field applications. Thank you, sir.
Sriram told I have to take only 10 minutes. What's the suggestions?
Strictly 10 minutes.
Okay, I will restrict myself to 10 minutes. The introduction what he wants me to give, Sriram has already given. We are together for the last 40 years. Being together is very difficult. Nowadays, being friends in the same department, working in the same area is extremely difficult. Rajini and Kamal, these 2 people are the famous actors in Tamil Nadu. Foreigners may not know. Kamal has told it's very difficult to get 2 actors who are very good actors together for 40 years. Same thing applies me to Sundar. It's extremely difficult. I don't know whether anybody can excel our relationship. That is one thing which I have to say. Second thing is, I am standing here because of 3 people. The first one is Professor Ganapati, who was with CEG. Second one is Professor Raju. He is a topmost consultant. I learned academics from Professor Ganapati and project execution from Professor Raju. But I learned from Professor Sundar how to publish papers. If you want to say something about Sundar, it should be about his publications. In addition to that, most of the international conferences, including the one what we are holding today, is because of his name. Some people confuse me with Professor Sundar when I go to conference. Maybe same thing could have happened to him also. And another thing is, I want to tell youngsters, because I have moved very closely with him, I traveled across the world, and whenever there is a presentation, I am a very casual person. I don't take too much effort to make a presentation. But the kind of efforts he takes, it's very hard to believe. From the years back, what he has done, the same thing he is doing today also. Even the person who's backbiters or who don't want to understand the class, who don't want to, their mind will not be there, the presence will be there. So his teaching goes to that fellow. So during the geotextile seminar, I told 5 or 6 ladies, I told them go inside. Sundar is giving the lecture. It's very easy for you to understand. I told if Murli is giving, I will not ask you to go. So he gives all the problems to the student. Another thing is you cannot sleep in his class. You cannot think about his girlfriend in the class. Because he asks questions. Most of the teachers don't ask. And it is better to ask the questions. And one of the culprit is the Senasirad. He will be thinking that he will be attending classes, but he will be sleeping, opening his eyes. I don't know how he has taught him, but this is the hallmark of a good teacher, I am trying to say. There may be very good academicians, Why I am telling is I learned from him wave dynamics. It's very easy to learn. So this is the way we explain how to build various stages. We are telling to PWD engineers, public works department engineers, who don't know anything about wave dynamics, CWAL and other things. So we have successfully completed these works. We explained everything, and this next I want to go to the.
Okay. And when I came back from Singapore in the year 2003, I was fortunate enough to work with him, to have started working with him, and in various areas. But fortunately for us, and unfortunately for several others, the Indian Ocean tsunami has struck us in the year 2004, and that is the milestone event wherein we started working very closely with each other in many other challenges and areas. So some of the research that we have done, I'm going to talk about some consultancy projects and some research projects was with Prof Sundar, and I wanted to put the title as Learning with Sundar, but he preferred the title of Learning Along with Sundar, but I don't agree with that. So I have learned a lot of things from him, especially the amount of hard work that he puts in whatever he's doing. Even he does a very simple activity, he will do it with the utmost sincerity and hard work. And that is one quality I have learned and inherited from him, to put in that kind of hard work. There was a period wherein we were traveling along the Kerala coast, nearly 500 kilometers in about 1 week time, Prof Sundar, and we could not match the amount of dedication and hard work that he had put in. And after each and every site visit, he used to prepare notes by himself and keep it for preparation of the reports at the later time. So with that, as a result of our interactions, I could gather we had produced more than 21 papers. Some of it I could not get in time. That list should be close to 30. That's what I believe. So starting from the very first student, Vijay Kumari, which we guided, tidal energy potentials in India. And this is a very widely referenced and cited document. It addresses the tidal potential, tidal energy potential all along the Indian coast. Also provides mechanisms by which you can evaluate project feasibility using the methodology that we had discussed in this particular publication. Along with Sendil Kumar, we did stabilization of inlets, tidally driven inlets in estuaries and the river mouths. This is also one of the important works that we did along with we did together, and very well cited work. Then we went on to do works related to cyclones and measurements of field parameters, etc. And under ATC PwC, we did several projects, and most importantly, the last paper. And along with Sai Chundur, we also published several other papers, which are not here. I could not get them in this list, wherein we developed several transport models, and we did very in-depth discussions on modeling aspects and correlation of the field parameters with the model and using the field measurements in the models. So a large variety of activities were covered under this particular study. So it was all enjoyable, and I can cherish every moment that we had to work together. With that, I would like to thank the organizers, and thank you, Sriram, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking to 10 minutes.
Patent was awarded. So I was going to Prof Sundar's room. I was trying to, somebody was walking by my side. I was trying to tell him what I had done to develop this block. Actually, it was a modification of Dolos. I called it Colos later on. And whatever I had been telling him, there was absolutely no reaction. I was telling him, I was speaking continuously, and we were approaching his room. And when we entered his room, I told Professor Sundar that I had reduced the length of the connecting stem of dollars and made this block. Only one sentence. Professor Sundar immediately got up from his chair, shook my hands. That was clear proof that he understood. Only one sentence I said, and he understood whatever I had done. Then he told me later on that I had also thought about this, but I did not do anything about it. But you had made a new block out of this. So in his mind, he was very clear about whatever the armor blocks are about and whatever various armor blocks, what are the drawbacks and advantages of armor blocks. Well, that was an eye-opener for me as well, to keep yourself at peace with all the developments. On another occasion, he expressed his desire to see the breakwater we had built of colors. So one day I took him from Madras to Krishnapatnam. The port was Krishnapatnam. We had a student also coming with us. And then we were dropped at the start of the breakwater. Breakwater was 1.7 kilometers long. Almost, construction was going on, almost completed. And then in my enthusiasm, I wanted to show him the entire breakwater, not from the sky, but actually walking on it. So I started walking towards the roundhead. After some time, I found that Professor Sundar, it was very difficult. He used to be sitting in the classrooms, and he was not used to this, the kind of sun we were exposed to. And I was feeling a little bad, but my enthusiasm, I wanted to show him everything I had done. And I walked quite a bit, then stopped. The student was also lagging behind. The student then came up and said, "Sir, you proceed. Professor will anyway come. You proceed. Once you proceed, he will have to come." But it was different. After some time, somebody came with a jeep, and then
covered the contributions Professor has made to the field of science and engineering and also to the community. I want to just cover another dimension. As his students, we are privileged to have, and not only just teaching and the guidance he provided on our PhD, the personal care he took us, for all of us, including me, how he took time and how he groomed us. As a single instance, like when he asked me to attend first international conference after my first year of my PhD. Actually, I was hesitating to go because I never had any experience and I never traveled outside at that time. So he arranged everything. He even gave his blazer so that I will attend the conference in a right attire. So I was really, I still remember all those small things he did to me and my colleagues like Sarnash Raj and all the students he did. So that's what I want to tell. Thank you, sir, what you did for all of us, to the students. Thank you very much.
Engineering is basically introduced by Professor Sundar to me when I was just graduated with just civil engineering as my background. And then I was not very sure what to do in terms of professional life, and then I joined with him. as a technical staff in the beginning, and then went on to finish my master's and PhD together. So this presentation is also kind of a dedication to Professor Sundar. Good teacher, mentor, philosopher, and especially when we move out of this campus, step out of the campus, is a very good friend, irrespective of the age difference. So, of course, that is well known to everyone of this guy. So, how much time I'm left with now?
Some minutes.
Okay. So I'll quickly go through the kind of effort that we, we make actually from IIT Bombay, Department of Civil Engineering. We are right now 4 faculty members as part of the Ocean Engineering Division, and my colleague is also here in the front row, so Manas and Mera. And what we try to understand is fundamentally the challenges, the practical challenges when we try to tackle the hydro and then the subsequent macrodynamics. Okay, so through field measurements, modeling, mathematical modeling, and whenever it is really required, optimal use of the remote sensing. I think exactly this presentation will have a little overlapping with what Professor Bhavan has actually given us an exhaustive presentation in the special session this afternoon. Well, I think this is known to all of us. The coastal science or the coastal dynamics, of course, they vary in time and space. I'll skip this part. And I think.
And I told, okay, this is what I got from my modeling, and this is what I found it is to be correct. Then he asked me a question, how do you know that is correct? So in the beginning stage, I was thinking that, okay, there is nothing called validation, which I didn't know. So I told, if you want, I will bring my system and I will run it in front of you. And obviously, justified also, he got furious. So that's the point when I learned what is validation. So with that banging, I learned what is validation. But I went on to join PhD to work on a project which was funded by ISRO, Department of Space, Government of India. And that was just immediately after the 2004 tsunami. And this project was on modeling of tsunami, basically development of a numerical model for simulation of tsunami. So I would like to again thank Professor Sundar for giving me that opportunity. So for my masters, I was working with Professor Murali, but for my PhD, Professor Murali and Professor Sundar both were my guides. So 2 guides, but the interaction has been excellent with both of them. But with Professor Sundar, there is different level of interaction, as Professor Balaji was telling. Once you go out of academic environment, there is a different kind of interaction on the dinner tables. So, coming to the technical part of the work, what I will quickly touch upon that
I am his PhD student, and I was able to complete my PhD in 6 years just because of his motivation and encouragement. And so towards the end, I was under a lot of pressure, and I even approached him asking for extension. Then he said, I'll give you 2 options. Either you do complete your PhD under me, or you go and find another guy. So I didn't have any other option. That time I really felt bad, but later I felt that decision, it actually helped me to complete my work in another 2 months and submit it. Otherwise, I would have just continued like that for another 2 more years. And so that is Sundar sir. But even though he used to be harsh at times, but he was very considerate. He used to tell me, being a lady, you must be finding it difficult to manage all the things. So that is something different. Because I think that part others didn't mention. Maybe all of you were gents. So that consideration also he had. So now coming to this presentation, I dedicate this talk to Professor Sundar. So my presentation is on study on shoreline changes and coastal erosion along the Tirunelveli coast of Kerala.
Proposed idea of flexible dam structure, which consists of fluid under pressure in a rubberized high tensile polymer, can be used with multiple applications in coastal engineering. which already has a number of applications in river engineering works, namely the flood mitigation and the diversion measures. And we'll quickly move on to the existing applications that are already in place. So these are very small scale examples that I'm presenting here. What I'd like to tell the audience of this session is that we like to magnify the applications of such flexible structures, which gives us in wrapped applications as well. So here we have short videos of the applications of this head structure.
Whatever I have done are all small jobs. When I sit here and try to recollect, then I understand what big ocean I have done. And the next one is the relationship between teacher and student is very, very unique. I'm not talking about IIT teachers alone or IIT process alone. It starts from your primary school. So this relationship is very unique. I don't know how much of you, I am sure that each one of you have your own experiences, but I have my own experience, which is so fresh in my mind, memory, right from the experience when I was doing my 3rd standard. So I have a special place for all my students, and I still have, and it will go on with me. That's one thing. And finally, I don't know how many of you have seen the saying on my table. I don't know how, many of you might have come to my room and sat in front of me. And I don't know how many of you have read that sentence, because that conveys a lot. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. And working together is a success. So this is what I learned, and this I try to follow to my very best. But sometimes we can always slip, because we are all human beings. Maybe I might have been harsh to some of them, but anyway, it's all only for your good. So thanks a lot for my colleagues, former former students, and my colleague for more than 4 decades. In fact, it's much more than 4 decades, because I know him even as a student, because we both were in the same hostel. I don't know if he remembers, we both were in a Kaveri hostel. And so thanks for all your good wishes and whatever you were able to recollect what I have contributed to your life. And I am sure that many of you who spoke here have contributed to my growth. Thank you very much for this wonderful occasion. Thank you.
Both of us. He is now become the torch bearer of our department.
And now there is a relay race.
Student of both of us.
He is the battery of the torch.